Chapter 2. Let's begin. Here's Chapter 2, everybody. Thank you for all your kind reviews. I have a feeling that this will be a hard story to write, so please, everyone, please read and review me. Thank you. Chapter 2. There was a long silence that followed that. The professor coughed uneasily and Conan blinked, forcing his eyes away from her. Well, Toro, I guess you and I can excuse ourselves for a while, he said, staring at the man straight into the eyes. Toro raised his eyebrows and opened his mouth ready to tell the professor that he was perfectly fine staying here and listening to the two of them talk and communicate. When he finally realized the professor's true meaning, "Oh," he said sulkily. "Alright then, we'll be in the garden." "I didn't know you had a garden," Hibara said coolly. "It's in the shed," Toro said, flushing at his mistake. The two of them raised their eyebrows at the two professors, Agasha pushing Toro out the room, shutting the door behind them. Well, there was another moment of silence before Hybrid sighed and sank down to the sofa behind her, and smirked at Conan. "Well, imagine the chances of you being my future husband," she said, pulling off the white gloves Toro had forced her to put on, and dropped them onto the table before her. Toro said that the person coming would be smart, collected, and handsome. You couldn't fit even half of those. Conan gave her a withering look and tugged off his tie. "And you haven't changed a bit," he said. She smirked and looked away. Conan watched her, a thin blush rising on his cheeks. She turned and looked at him curiously. "What?" she asked, and he looked away, flushing furiously. He looked away, biting his lip. "Nothing," he said embarrassedly. "It's just that you grew more beautiful over the years." Her eyes widened, her cheeks reddened. Then she grinned. "Flattery doesn't work on me," she said. "Idiot," I muttered. "It's the truth." "I know," she said, smirking. He rolled his eyes. "You haven't changed one bit," he said under his breath. "Neither have you," she said. Another full-blown silence before Conan smiled at her. She blinked. "At least I'm marrying you, not some random girl," he said. A faint blush rose again on her cheeks before she shook herself. "Whatever," she answered. Hybara rubbed her temples as she looked at the invitation list. "Well, this is stunning," she muttered. "Yeah," Conan said under his breath. "Just how long you and Toro have been planning this wedding." His hands barely could hold the weight of the staggering list. "Oh, don't worry about the entire thing," Toro laughed, patting Goslin rather hard in the back, causing his glasses to slip off his face. "Just take care of the top few on the list. The others are those who are all not familiar with." Hybern and Conan looked at each other. "Well, me and August will help you send out the letters," Toro went on, beaming, patting the professor once more heartily on the back, causing his glasses to shoot right off once again. "But of course, we won't hold you back if you plan to tell some of those on the list personally." "Right on," said Conan, turning his heel. "I went to visit somebody," Hybrid said quietly, and Conan turned around. "Who?" he asked. Hybrid said it. Conan just stoned out right then and there. "What?" he asked. She repeated what she had said. "Oh, no way," he said. "It's okay," Hybrid said, smiling at his recreation once more. "They're okay with me now. I guess jail food poisoned their hate away." Conan's eyes widened. "You've been seeing the two of them?" he asked. "Why not?" she said. "They've been helping me a lot over the years." "They're in jail!" Conan exclaimed. "I can still visit them, can't I?" Conan just stunned out before her a moment. "You're stupid," he explains. "Thank you," she said sarcastically. "I love you too. Now, if you excuse me, I'll be on my way." Conan let out an expressive sigh, wringing his hands in the air before groaning defeat. "Fine," he muttered. "I'm coming along." The two professors grinned at each other. Hybrid and Conan walked on in silence. But as he turned away, "It's pretty weird now that you think of it," he said, "that we're getting married." "Tell me about it," she says back. "But there will be no big deal, though. The ceremony will be skipped, and there will only be the wedding dinner." He scratched his head. "Oh," he said slowly. "Okay, then." She smirked. "Why?" she asked. "Were you looking forward to kissing me?" she asked. "What?" he stammered, blushing. "I didn't. I Just kidding," she said, and he walked on. He watched her leave. "Darn it," he said, slapping his head. He caught up with her, glaring at her. "You know, after all these years, I expected you to act more feminine and Lee-like. I mean, you haven't changed at all. Well, except for your body." His eyes immediately slid down to her curvy waist and her slender thighs. He rising up to his face. She smiled coolly. "Isn't that good enough for you?" she said, her tongue slithering out of her lips and licking them wet, moistening her lipstick. "No," he said furiously, blushing like the setting sun. "I was just merely, Just kidding," she said, and walked off, as he watched her leave once more and licked a lamppost beside him. Hard. "Darn it." Hab rose. "I'm not really sure of this," Conan said nervously. Hibara didn't say anything but walked down the dull passageway to the end of the prison cells to the cafeteria, following the buff security guards downwards. Conan obviously wasn't very popular with prisoners. They glared at him and growled at him, and Conan saw one of them was doing an extremely rude sign to him, which was not allowed to be written in the story. Famous guy, are you? Hibara said, smirking as Conan winced at the huge glob of spit barely missed him, spying on the wall beside him. It's just that there are a lot of sore people around, Conan grumbled as the security guard shut the door to the cafeteria. Wait here, he mumbled, sounding horrifically like a troll with indigestion. I'll get the two of them. Be sure to keep the door locked shut. You won't know what might happen. Prison guards say the sweetest things, Conan muttered, and Hibara grinned. The two of them waited for a short moment before the two people walked out. The two of them hadn't changed one bit. For some reason, one of them was allowed to keep his long, flowing hair, which showed the amount of respect and fear the prisoner and government were afraid of him. Just say his real name, and you could see the flower wilt in seconds. Two of them hadn't aged. It seemed like they could age. They walked over and sat down in the chairs before them. You have 10 minutes, the guard says, folding his arms. Get out, said the man with the long hair quietly. Yes, sir, the guard said fearfully and almost scrambled out. The man with the long hair sighed out and pulled a cigarette and blew out a gust of smoke, not looking at him. What is it now, Sherry? The man asked. He's as cold as ever, Conan thought, gulping. Hibara merely smirked. Just wanted to talk to you both, she said. Jin, Vaka. Vaka raised his eyebrows. Me too, he asked? Yeah, Hibara said. Jin didn't say anything before his eyes drifted to Conan. Have I seen you somewhere before? He asked quietly. Conan shivered. No, I don't think you have. Jin's eyes watched him for a long time before looking away. Close, Conan thought. It was true, but it was close. Until this day, Jin did not know that Conan was indeed Jimmy Kudo. And if he then, boy, Conan didn't know what could happen. Well, what do you want, Sherry? Vaka asked. High breast smirk. Hopefully you can warm up to the better person inside me, Jin, she said. And why is that? Jin muttered, uninterested. Because he's my new husband. Jin spat out a cigarette in his mouth right then and there. Vaka let out a slightly girlish scream. The three of them looked at him. Oops, he said sheepishly. Sorry. Jin rolled his eyes before turning back to Hibara. If this is a joke, Hibara, it's not funny, he said angrily. It's not, she said almost smugly. Clearly she enjoyed us shocking people very much. Jin glared at her. Who decided on it? He asked. Nobody, actually, she said. Jin got to his feet, dangerously close to Hibara. She barely flinched. Boss, Vaka said urgently. I don't give a crap who he is, he growled. But you belong to me. Is that so? She said quietly. And who agreed to that? His mouth opened, then shut, his eyes boring into hers. She just stared back, almost daring him to lose his temper, which was very unusual for Jin. The color in his eyes changed, and then he turned around. We'll see, he said. Conan frowned. 10 minutes are up, the guard said, coming in. Jin watched him leave. He watched Hibara leave. She looks good, doesn't she? Vaka said, trying to change the subject. And Jin licked his dry lips. Yes, he said. She looks very beautiful. He made his way back to his cell. Ravishingly beautiful. Into chapter 2. Author's note. Sorry, if you thought that was a little dull, we'll improve in the later chapters, so please keep looking forward to my future chapters. May take some time with them, though, because I'm loaded with schoolwork in the meantime. Take care. P.S. We'll have a romantic moment with Hibara and Conan. Maybe have a flashback of Jin and Hibara. Not too sure of that yet. Please read and review. That was an interesting chapter, meeting the two infamous bad guys of the entire series, and surprisingly they're in prison. Well, I still have enough time left. So like I said, don't forget Friday that I'll be doing my anime review, and then maybe when I probably won't be doing another video till like maybe Sunday night. So be on the lookout for that. And for the guy who sent me that last comment with a question mark, I'm not really sure what you were talking about with the question mark. So if you please, next time if you do comment, please say something before writing a question mark, or I will not understand what you are saying. If that's the case, I guess that's it. Technically, I'm not sure if we're gonna do more chapters tomorrow or what. I'm going to church tomorrow night. I'm not sure what my schedule is gonna be like, but if my videos come up, they'll come up. But if you're not up by tomorrow night, expect double chapters. For me, Knight Rider 7602, signing off.